Hello, howdy, welcome to the most fantastical, action-packed, jam-packed, knowledgeable infotainment program in all of the World Wide Web. That is TV's Blake Walley. Ooh, I'm getting all of the playback. Hold on, let me pause it. Now that nothing will slow a show down, then you're having playback issues. There we go. That's Blake Walley. That's TV's Blake Walley. You can find him at, at TV's Blake Walley and at thenextlevelnews.com. My name's Brian Engelman. This is Tuesday, February 27, 2024. Thank you for finding the Agree to Disagree show here on the New American Media, because the old American media has failed you. Yes, we're doing the jobs that American news corporations just are unwilling to do. Isn't that the phrase they always say when we need illegal aliens to come in? It's like, well, we could have migrants, we could have workers. You got to pass a background check and get a health test to make sure that you're a contributor to society. You don't just open the floodgates and let anybody wander in. But they said, they're just doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do. Well, we're doing the news that the legacy media companies, the lying legacy media companies, are unwilling to do because they're not mainstream media companies. Don't ever use the word mainstream. They are lying legacy media companies run by the CIA. The Smith-Mundt Act, it's propaganda. So welcome to our show. We're going to talk about the following topics today. We're going to talk about Rothschild. Yes, the banking guy, he's dead. What do we think? We're going to talk about a U.S. serviceman who, he did some stuff. And we're going to get into it. And I'll tell Blake why I posted yesterday that I'll get into it when we get into the story. There was a person that did a thing, and he's not with us anymore. So we'll talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about deportations. Are Democrats not willing to do that because of future voter opportunity or fraud opportunity? Also, who is the most disgraceful figure in modern presidential history? Blake, that's a tough one. We ranked the presidents on President's Day. Who's worse? George W. Bush, Obama, Biden, anybody else? We'll get into that. Also, is there somebody in the political realm today that needs a mental health intervention? I'm sure you know who we're talking about. No, wait, it's the other one. Yeah, of course, because of course. Oh. Also, we're going to talk about this current administration, Joe Biden and his presidency. Has it been a masterclass already? Don't you feel smarter having listened to Karine Jean-Pierre for 3 years? Or I'm sorry, it wasn't Karine Jean-Pierre the whole time, right? It was that other lady, the Peppermint Patty. We'll talk about it. Hasn't it been a great masterclass? It is a masterclass in what not to do. Also, the United States doesn't need more kids. Do you agree or disagree with that? We already have 327 million already. Who needs more? By the way, open the floodgates at the southern border and pump 15 million undocumented people, invaders, into our country, including Chinese battalions. Yeah, you got cartels, you got Russians, you got Chinese, you got Afghanis, you got ISIS. Oh, it's going to be so fun when the Summer of Love election year hits this year. Can't wait for it. I'm sure you're excited too. Also, pro-Ukraine war promoters, should they join the National Guard instead? Stop your yapping and get to tapping. All right, how about that? Also, is it okay to misgender someone? Would you agree or disagree that it's okay to misgender someone in order to prevent the impending nuclear apocalypse? Because it does feel like it's inevitable that we're going to get attacked, but we'll talk about that. And finally, do we need aggressive censorship to combat misinformation online? Agree or disagree with that? So, okay, Blake, welcome to the program. Hi, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Brian. It's great to be here. Looking forward to covering the topics.
Jam-packed intro, right? Fast. That we're going to try this new thing, especially today. So here we go. Let's jump into something that happened over the weekend. And my God, like I've said, these Thursday to Tuesday layovers are just brutal because there's so much news that happens. But we'll jump into topic number 1 right now. Yeah, so what was that comment? Gender bender? Yeah, I know. And Bender was that character from that TV show made by The Simpsons. Okay, Blake, agree or disagree that Lord By the way, you never call somebody Lord unless they are the true Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, or your maker. No earthly human deserves the title of Lord in a non-sarcastic manner. But anyway, Lord, in air quotes, Rothschild was a good guy who did some good things. What say you, Blake? Agree or disagree with that?
Well, I guess it depends on who you ask. So he might be seen as a philanthropist by some, or a eugenicist. I don't know. I would say probably not. Would not be a fan of the Rothschild family and their seemingly unlimited wealth and power and the way that they have manipulated reality for their own purposes.
So
no,
what
not
is
a
that?
fan of Jake.
Not
Probably
a fan
not
of
a good guy. You know, maybe yeah, if we had to like hang out with him, maybe he would seem like a decent polite individual. But yes, behind the scenes, he's probably thinking of he's strategizing on ways of controlling population or something other more sinister things.
Could you imagine the parties at the Rothschild Manor? Good grief. If you've seen Eyes Wide Shut, forget about it. Okay, I want to bring this up here because this was, maybe a quintessential moment in the Rothschild legacy, if you will. Did we describe Jacob Rothschild properly? He was a banker. He's part what's the
part of the
quickest
banking
way to
family. I
tell
don't
that
even know
he's
exactly. Yeah, I don't know. He's part of that empire, but I really couldn't tell you exactly what he did. I was just interested to see another one of these guys fall over. We're done with. Well, yeah, it was the other one first, the David Rothschild, and then there was Kissinger passed
yeah.
away, and who else? I thought there was another big one. Maybe I can't remember.
There's so many.
But, yeah, there's a few of these guys.
Yeah, if you go to the New American Media, by the way, if you like the New American Media, please check us out. Patreon.com/the New American Media, YouTube.com/the New American Media, and the Agree to Disagree Show. Find us in all the places, please. But if you go to Instagram.com and find the New American Media, we did send something out. We don't post there very often. Let me pull up this screen if I can. It was Blake. We can't pull up two screens at the same time, can we? So we have to stop screen sharing.
Same time. Well, I have no idea. Are you pulling up the old that We Are Changed, Luke Rudowski, when he confronted him?
Yeah, I do have that pulled up, but I wanted to show you this one since we're talking about it. This is a this is a cartoon on the New American Media on the Instagram page, and it's the Grim Reaper with the toy grabber machine where it reaches down and pulls something up, and he's saying, "Come on, King Charles." And he goes, "Oh, F yeah, Jacob Rothschild." And so we put as a caption, "Karma escapes no human. Many believe that the soul is eternal and a price will be paid either in this life or the next." Hashtag banking cartel, hashtag money changer, hashtag fiat currency, hashtag usury, hashtag theft, hashtag banksters. So, I mean, the legacy of this guy, I mean, by the way, including the foundation and the formation of Israel, a very poignant topic to discuss these days. Yeah, the legacy is vast on this guy. But yes, I did have a video from Luke at We Are Changed that I did want to share with you. Unless Blake has it pulled up, I can grab it.
We got one other clip. Yeah, go ahead if you got it. Or I can pull mine.
You have another to add?
Yeah, no, I got his final moments. Yeah.
Well, okay, you got the final moments. Let me do this one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think we have a delay here. Blake, what were you saying? And then I'll play this clip from Luke.
Oh, I've got just a quick clip with Jacob Rothschild, his last moments surrounded by his family. But you can play yours first since you already got it up. Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I'm guessing yours is a humorous one.
We'll have to see. Yeah.
Oh, we will have to see. Okay. Here we go. This is Luke Rudowski, who we've encountered and met a couple times, from We Are Change. I guess, Blake, are they still a thing? We Are Change?
It's still Luke's brand. Yeah. Maybe not as common.
I just kind of know him as Tim's sidekick these days. I don't see the We Are Change logo doing like new stuff these days. So
he still has his own brand where he does things. I think that is what he still does. He's still the face of that.
Okay.
But yeah, he was kind of pioneering this whole, citizen journalist thing this gotcha journalism. He mastered this style about 15 years ago or so. And he inspired and
Yep. And so
influenced a
this
lot of
is
people. So yeah, he encountered a lot of powerful people, including just mentioned Kissinger. So
yeah. So here we go. Here's that
Mr.
interaction.
Rothschild, how you doing, sir? Can you tell us what went on at the Bilderberg meeting this year?
Sorry?
Can you tell us what went on at the Bilderberg meeting this year?
I didn't get that, actually, no.
The Bilderberg? You weren't there?
No.
What went on last year?
No, I wasn't there last year. I think that was my cousin.
Your cousin was there?
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Do you have a couple minutes for us, Mr. Rothschild? We have a few additional questions.
I guess the question inside was saying that the Federal Reserve was one of these organizations. It's one of these organizations that a lot of people say is the source of inhumane products all across the world. Because
If you can't hear what he's saying, he says a lot of people say the Federal Reserve is a source of a lot of inhumane projects across the world. I know there's a lot of street noise here, but look, I will take a non-perfect audio interview that's just, it's an important mile marker as opposed to not having this. I'll take the rough audio, but let's let it continue.
that was started by your family.
No, it's completely untrue. I was asked that earlier. It really isn't true. No.
One thing, we could go about how your family committed all these acts against society, but we just want to let you know the New World Order has no legitimacy, and that we as a people are not.
And so he's saying that your family started the Federal Reserve private banking cartel. And I'll rewind this last part here, that the New World Order has no legitimacy.
We just want to let you know the New World Order has no legitimacy, and that we as a people are not afraid, and we are waking up to the robber barons and the big banksters who are looting this economy with the Federal Reserve.
Well,
we just want to let you know the New World Order has no legitimacy.
There you go.
And that we as a people are not afraid, and we are waking up to the robber barons and the big banksters who are looting this economy with the Federal Reserve.
Well,
the Rothschild family did start the Federal, they divided Europe first, took over Europe, the Napoleon.
Don't do that.
And he says a bit of an exaggeration. And then that's the end of that video. But, like I said, it's just it's an important piece of explaining, I don't know, just trying to understand the full story. It says you divided Europe and you broke them apart, and it started 1913, Creature from Jekyll Island. It's a private banking cartel. You're printing our own money and loaning it back to us at interest. What do you do? You have no authority for this, and we're not scared of you. And it's like that energy is ascending, it feels like.
Well, it certainly felt like it was ascending at that time, and then it seemed like the awakening kind of got derailed through the Obama years. Now the leftists are totally lost cause, it seems. So unfortunately, now we're still in the fight. It's still moving, but we haven't had the breakthroughs I think that we were hoping for. But there was certainly some historical journalism there, as we were able to kind of get on their level, and with social media and YouTube, and be able to create our own media and confront these people, because the media,
the new American media, as it were, because the old American media has failed us. All right, so you got a clip here, or you got something about his final moments surrounded by all his loved ones?
Yeah, there we go. We'll run this clip here. There we go. Hopefully we won't get a copyright.
Can you full screen this?
Probably will. Yeah, here we go.
I am still emperor.
You can't hear it. He's saying, "I'm still the emperor," on his deathbed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. Yeah, that is. They look.
Well, there he goes. The emperor to his last dying breath.
What was that dark crystal?
I can't remember. I think so. It's been a long time since I've seen that, but I did catch this clip yesterday. Somebody put this out. I retweeted it. Thought it was pretty funny.
The similarities are stunning.
You could barely tell.
So
who
anyway,
was who. Yeah.
Yeah, hard to say. I am still emperor. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
not anymore. Like I said, if the soul is eternal, you're going to have some answering to do. You can't take any of it with you. We all end up in a box in the ground or scattered to the wind as ashes. So ashes to ashes, dust to dust, yo. You know, there's a legacy we leave behind, and it's like, yeah, you might sell your soul a little bit while you're here, but you can't take it with you.
Ooh.
And if there's a price to pay,
Well, there's a
you might not want
great transition for the next big story. One you're not even really hearing about on a lot of places, from what I understand. But somebody else who passed on, and we wonder what their legacy will be and how that would affect their karma with the way that they checked out, and ceremonious
All
as
right.
it may be.
Let's get to show number to topic number 2. And yeah, that graphic that we have for the thumbnail for today's show could be for the first story or the second story, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe both. Here we go. All right. So as far as a story that is not, what'd you say, Blake, not getting attention, hasn't really been covered in the way
before this show, just, I asked my dad, I said, hey, have you, because he watches lots of financial news, watches Fox News a lot, and I said, hey, did you hear this story about this guy in front of the Israeli embassy? And he says no. And I said, I told him all the details, which should have been like obviously a major story, but there's apparently there's censorship on it, so they're not posting it. So I don't know if they're showing it on other parts of the legacy media, or if this is something that people are only finding on Twitter. I don't use Facebook. I hate Facebook. Maybe you've seen it there, Brian. I'm not, but I mean, it's certainly a big story amongst these other circles, but not in the legacy. I think it's obviously an uncomfortable story for many reasons. So why don't I just pull it up here?
Before you get going, I'm kind of scrolling down trying to locate, because I did put something out. I believe I put it out on the Facebook group. I'm hoping I can locate it quickly. And I'm scrolling down right now. But yeah, I saw this story and I had a hard time with it right off the bat. I didn't want to share it. There's certain things I don't want to glorify. I don't like saying school shooters' names. Now, obviously, there's a difference between some punk ass school shooter going after literally the weakest people amongst us who have no ability to fight back. I can't find, but I guess I'll just have to go off the top of my head. I was hoping I could quote myself, but I don't like to glorify mental illness. I don't like to glorify people that self-delete. I any more than I would one of those jihadi bombers that take their own lives. I don't want to say their name. I don't want to glorify the story. You're seeing images of this person with flames on them. It's like rising to the level of a deity. It's like this was a mentally disturbed human who checked out early. You're like, that's kind of across cultures. That's usually something you're not supposed to do. Yes, there's kamikazes in Japan dying for a greater cause, and all the jihadis, they think all these virgins are waiting for them if they just give the ultimate sacrifice. I don't agree with that. I don't like that. I wish this guy could have got some help. Like if he had his political views on current events and what was happening, give those views. But you might say nobody would pay attention to him unless he did something this drastic. I don't want to say his name. I don't want to glorify the story. I know you're looking to put it up there at the top of the stack and made a thumbnail about it. And
big story, Brian.
Blake,
I think that's interesting that you're uncomfortable. It makes it so that
we can agree to disagree on this to a certain extent. If you want to, go ahead and tell me your thoughts.
Well, I would agree to disagree there. I don't think he was mentally ill, although it was a very bold statement that he made, if you want to call it that. Yes, and it was basically a suicide, or what they call self-immolation. So this is not,
and if you think back to I'm sorry, Blake, I was just going to say the Rage Against the Machine cover, I believe that's what's on the cover of their breakthrough album.
Yeah,
it's maybe it's a monk doing the same thing. And remember, the Arab Spring, that started off, I think that was in Tunisia. There was a merchant that did this to himself, and it allegedly sparked the what do they call it? The Green Uprising, the Green Revolution, where Obama and the CIA and McCain, they backed the wrong people because they like the jihadis and the terrorists. They don't like the... Anyway, I digress. But yeah, that was allegedly the powder keg moment that sparked the Arab Spring. But yeah, they should have been helping Iran throw off the shackles of the abusers over there instead. Obama, of course, because the deep state loves all their terrorists over there and all their violence. But no, I don't know, Blake. I don't know how I could look at someone that decides to self-delete and not obviously say that they're suffering from a mental episode. They're having like there's someone that needs help. Like there's someone that they're clearly not in their right state of mind. Like people don't walk around each day like doing something like this. Like it is. They had a mental health episode and nobody helped them.
Okay, well, yeah, there's differing opinion on that, so we'll talk about it. So I will say his name. His name is Aaron Bushnell, who quoted, "I will no longer be complicit in genocide. U.S. airman, he self-immolates outside of the Israeli embassy in D.C." So active member. Let's see, and he actually did quote that out. He talked about, we'll just say he's an active duty member who will no longer be complicit in genocide, which he was live streaming on Twitch, because I'm about to engage in an extreme act of protest. But compared to what people have been experiencing in Palestine at the hands of their colonizers, it's not extreme at all. This is what our ruling class has decided will be normal. Then he doused himself with the accelerant and set himself on fire while repeatedly shouting "Free Palestine." So we can run the tape here to a degree. It's
Blake, I don't think so. I don't want to glorify this. Like we're telling the story more than I want.
Are we glorifying this? We're just covering a story. So you're doing like the Fox News thing. Let's just. I
haven't watched Fox News in 5 years. I don't know what Fox.
Okay, but here you go, Brian. But this is why he's doing
this. Here's my point on this.
Why are you running the clock on it? Okay.
I'm trying to run the clock. Blake, stop. I'm giving you a chance to tell the story. But like when I watch someone go into, what was it, 2 weeks ago or something, News to Share had footage of some idiots at maybe the Smithsonian, and they're defacing the Declaration of Independence. And they're like, "I now have a message to say, blah, 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 blah." I don't want to hear the message. I don't want to reward your shit behavior with the thing that you're seeking. I don't want to do it. And I even this video, and then the video blurs, but like, I'm not glorifying this shit. I can't do it. I don't know what Fox News is doing, but like, there's a reason why I don't want to encourage this shit, because it's shit. I don't want like this guy on t-shirts on fire. I don't want this guy's name plastered. Like this is shit. It's sad and it's unfortunate. And you can be against things politically, and you can speak your mind, and you can have opinions. You can offer your perspective. But like, this is glorification. This is just like doing the same thing with the school shooter, or somebody blocking the freeway somewhere. Someone's in an ambulance, can't go get life-saving help. They're blocking the freeway and like, "I want to talk about climate change. I want to drag you off of the street so that regular life can continue." So that's my ideological reasoning there. I don't know what Fox News. Fox News.
If it was up to you, you wouldn't even cover this. You just censor it completely and pretend like it didn't happen. So just like Fox.
That's what Fox News is doing. They're not even discussing it at all.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're discussing it, and I put stuff out on it.
No, I know, but you did. Okay, well, that's more than they have. But I think this is kind of partly why he did this, is because it's not getting attention, because Fox, or maybe you, Brian, also don't acknowledge that there's some atrocities happening over there. And he felt that he had to take this extreme situation to bring attention to this cause. And so while I don't agree necessarily that he should have done this, I get it. And if we had an honest conversation about what was actually happening, Israel and Gaza, then maybe this wouldn't be happening. this wouldn't have had to go to this extreme. So it is a very sad story, but it did happen, and he had his reasoning. I don't know if he was mentally ill or not, but that's,
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that mentally stable people take their lives? Can you think of a single instance where a stable person would self-delete? Because these are people suffering from episodes. They're under immense stress, or they believe in something, but like to self-delete, that's pretty final. It's
okay. Let me show you another example here, Brian. How about let me take a look at this picture. Would you say these are the same significance? This is a tweet from Stu Peters here.
Well, once again, I wouldn't show that picture because that's glorifying something atrocious.
Well, you can't show that picture on the far right in China. They will censor that. This was an act of defiance. That was obviously a major story, and they didn't want other people to follow suit. You could also take a look at the Hong Kong protesters who risked their lives trying to, and even plead for help from America because of, the hell that they have to live in. So some people are willing to put their lives in danger just to, bring attention to a cause and inspire other people to get involved somehow. And so that's what this man did. Whether we agree or disagree, it's already done. So we could talk about it. So,
by the way, anyway, I did find it. It wasn't on Facebook.
There. Let me this jump man, in. Obviously, the Chinese man, we don't even know his name. He's been wiped from history. They, obviously killed him, billed his family for the bullet.
I did find let me pull this up real quick and I'll give it back to you. I found it. It wasn't on Facebook. It was on X because I woke up to the story and got going, and it was on, I guess yesterday. Said it's tough sometimes to figure out what to share as a news organization. There is a man who went to the Israeli embassy and ended his days to protest a war overseas. There is a video. His name is out there. But is this something that we should amplify? #conflicted. The second part was, I think a little bit of a retelling what I was mentioning before, but when a protester commits an act of vandalism at an art gallery, blocks a road, the choice to amplify their banners, their message, and their purpose only gives them what they want: media attention. They are rewarded for their violations of the non-aggression principle. Anyway, that was originally what I was trying to find here in the beginning, because as soon as I saw it, it made me sick to my stomach, and I thought about it, and I did not want to participate in it. So there you have it.
Okay. Well,
so this happened. Did you have any other thoughts on this before we bounce to the next?
I mean, yeah, some people do. We can take a look at, say, you would probably agree maybe with Laura Loomer. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but she was very active and created a lot of controversy. She's saying he's a traitor to his country. It's disgraceful to light yourself on fire. And she kind of twists this in the name of a jihadist movement while wearing your U.S. military uniform. This man is a scumbag. I won't even dignify him by saying his name. Of course, many people were obviously had an issue with that, saying that men in that uniform bombed us for 20 years, but we had the decency to acknowledge his protest against genocide, although we wish he hadn't done it. We wish he were still with his family, and his name was Aaron Bushnell. And then by saying his country, you imply the U.S. is not the country whose interests you're serving. Otherwise, you would have said our country. I hope it at least pays off licking the boots of genocidal Zionists. There's a lot of pushback on that. I won't get into too much of that. I do like a lot of what Laura Loomer does, but I am very skeptical of some of the Zionist people in the media who seem to take a very one-sided approach to these things. I think this is a major reason, obviously, why Aaron Bushnell decided to set himself on fire, was to say, hey, he believes that there is a genocide. This is unjust, and he's trying to bring attention to that. And they don't talk about this kind of stuff. It's just whatever Israel wants, they get. It's all good, and nobody questions it. But a lot of people have a problem with this war and this intervention. So I can just pull up another quick one. It'll just go through the headline.
Once again, look at that picture. This is glorifying bullshit. Like, I hate this so much. But
well, in his name, it wasn't bullshit.
I'm giving you your 5 minutes hate because it gives attention to anti-Israel stuff. I know it's a big topic.
Well, hey, if you want to be the new American media, then you got to cover stuff that the old media is not covering, not just join in what they want to do. And I've always found you have kind of this weird defense of Israel.
Yes, you do find defending Israel to be weird. I think when you're
when somebody's 100% and you get attacked all the time,
they effed around and they found out. Weird. They effed around and they found out a final time. Like, they did this to themselves. It's not like it's I don't know. Anyway, we obviously disagree on it. But go ahead. What else is the final wrap around here?
So there's just basically indiscriminate bombing of innocent civilians all over Gaza. It's genocide by many people's accounts. But since we're not calling it that and we're pretending that it's okay, then this man basically self-immolated himself to say, hey, this is something bigger going on. So we'll check out another one. How about, if you've noticed, Israel apologist trolls swarming all over the Bushnell story because they know how damaging the U.S. airmen self-immolating while screaming free Palestine is to the U.S. and Israeli information interests, and they're scrambling to manipulate the narrative. They're definitely freaking out. There's, both sides of this. Of course, Ben Shapiro, obviously, saying it's something deeply sick about a civilization.
Before you get to the Ben thing, the last one, like, that's not why that story is not being talked about. Oh, it's damaging. I laid out the reasons.
Why isn't it on Fox News?
Why I'm not sharing that. I've laid out the reasons, and that has nothing to do with what that last tweet says.
Okay, well, then why aren't they covering it on Fox News?
I don't work at Fox News. I don't like Fox News.
Why is a major news organization that is extremely pro-Israel, why are they just not covering like it didn't happen?
Are the other news networks covering it? Just only Fox?
I don't know. I don't watch any of them. I didn't see that. Like, I asked about it. I didn't even see it. So
all right, what's Ben saying?
I've only seen it on Twitter. But yes, so Ben Shapiro obviously is going to have a little agree with Loomer. Something deeply sick about a civilization in which large swaths of people cheer a disturbed anarchist self-immolation on behalf of a lie propagated by a terrorist group. But, to be fair, Ben has pushed a lot of lies about that event that day with a lot of the 40 beheaded babies and babies in ovens and all of the mass sexual assaults and rapes that they've never shown any proof of. So there's a lot of issues, but we can also take a look at Jon Stewart, who was thrown into the mix here on the Israel-Palestine conflict. He didn't mention this man, but he does talk about it, which is interesting because Jon Stewart is a Jewish man, but he's trying to, cover this fairly. So we can watch a few minutes of this.
This is an awful situation. We're coming off on 5 months of a brutal bombing campaign brought on by a horrific massacre and hostage-taking, and we seem no closer to ending anything but the reigns of a couple of Ivy League presidents. Well, this weekend, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu finally laid out his plan for peace.
Benjamin Netanyahu is calling for complete demilitarization of Gaza, as well as Israel taking over security and controlling entry and exit points to Gaza.
So your peace plan is a siege, a military siege. You really think a military solution ends this cycle?
Well, victory is within reach, and you can't have victory until you eliminate Hamas.
But okay, but your plan to eliminate Hamas by destroying all of Gaza, doesn't that just make more Hamases? Is that the plural of Hamas? Hamasai? I mean, it's an idea. Palestinian liberation is an idea. Unless you have a bomb that kills ideas. Do you have a bomb that kills ideas? I mean, how long would it even take to bomb the shit out of an idea?
The intense phase of the fighting is weeks away from completion. Not months, weeks away from completion.
Oh, dear God. If you insist on this plan, if you think that ends Hamas, I believe we in the United States have a banner you can use. It's a little wind damaged, but equally delusional. Look.
So, I mean, it seems that he's got a pretty unreasonable peace plan. I don't think there's any way Netanyahu is looking to make a reasonable plan. It's basically like, oh, okay, entirely eliminate Hamas entirely, disarm everybody, and make sure like nobody can go in or out without Israel's permission. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds great. Now, that's of course not saying the terror attack was awful and screw Hamas. But is there a reasonable solution? And there has been some atrocities committed, by Israel during this conflict. They have killed tens of thousands of people, including many children, many innocents, blown up hospitals. And the world is alarmed, and people need to be paying more attention to that. And to sit there and act like it's not a genocide and this is okay is a problem. And that's why Aaron Bushnell did this act. So.
All right. Well, there we have that side of things. Did you have anything else to add on this story? Because we got like 6 more and we're trying to do like 5, 6, 7 minutes per story. This one is clearly in the lead.
Okay, well, I won't cover any more, Brian. I know this is an uncomfortable subject for you.
No, look, I'm working with you.
Yep.
I'm working with you on this.
Okay.
Jocelyn saying the first responders pointed guns. Yeah, absolutely.
That was
instead of grabbing fire extinguishers.
Like almost hilarious, except it wasn't so tragic. But it was like, yeah.
Well, phase 2 could be the suicide vest. Like, it's not there's nothing shocking about it. This guy's obviously not right in the head. He's caused a huge fire. And then for a lot of these people who are self-deleting, they pull a pin like it. Obviously, the first person there would put it looks weird, but of course that's what you'd be trained to do if you are working defense at an embassy. You have to be waiting for the round 2 of a suicide explosion. Now, you're probably too close to help yourself or to stop it. But I mean, the guy's clearly there to make a statement. Like, how far is he willing to go? He's willing to go to the very extreme ends of the earth. And, in biblical tradition, self-deletion is something that puts you right there next to Rothschild. Has you there, not just in physical flames on the planetary realm, it's in permanent flames, because it's one of the first things he tells you, like in the good book, it's like, don't off yourself. Don't do that. And if you do, you're burning in hell forever. Now, I'm not saying I necessarily, that's my mindset. I've known people, and perhaps you have as well, that have taken that route, and they were not right in the head when they did it. And it's unfortunate. It's awful, but yeah, I mean, it looks weird for someone to show up and it's like, instead of helping, he's aiming, but like, you're at an embassy with a huge explosion. Like, are you just going to pull the pin? Like, I don't know. It's weird. It just sucks. I hate this story, but he got what he wanted because you had a chance to cover it ad nauseum, to give attention to it. And we did.
Well, if we were covering the story normally and saying this is awful what Israel is doing. Yes, it was horrible by Hamas to do the terror attack. But then for Israel to respond, retaliate, heavy-handed, and just level Gaza down into rubble like that, and what they've done is not justifiable. Most of the community around the world is pretty outraged. I didn't get into more of that clip just with the, with the United Nations and other countries. But if we could cover it fairly, then this wouldn't have had to happen.
I mean, that's one person's opinion. Covering something fairly, we're covering things quite a bit. And like I said, Hamas effed around and found out. I'm so surprised.
Like, yeah, but you've never criticized Israel for what they're having.
How dare they level buildings?
Right.
It's a war that they started.
Oh,
they're in a war.
That's exactly why
because they started a war.
Maybe you got blood on your hands, Brian. See, you're going to blindly defend
because
Israel.
Hamas attacked Israel. Now Israel's fighting back.
Right.
Hang on, Blake. Because Hamas attacked Israel, breaking the Abraham
so
Accords.
then they can go and just do whatever they want as long as
they're in a war and they're kicking their ass right now. Like, it's not my fight. It's not your fight.
Okay, so there wasn't a more diplomatic approach that they could have taken, or maybe
diplomatic approach to 1,000 people getting butchered,
blowing up churches.
Tell me how you
hospitals
diplomatically.
I know.
Oh, please, Hamas, talk to me. I know you just butchered 1,000 of us, but let's have a good conversation here.
Right?
Are you serious? They started a war, a literal war, a hot 100% turned up all the way war, and that's what's happening in a war. That's kind of why you shouldn't have started it, Hamas. I don't know, but maybe I'm old school. I digress. But I think this is fair coverage.
Okay, no, so that means Israel can just annihilate their entire population, and it's okay because, hey, they attacked first. Is that that's your logic, Brian? That is what you just said right now.
They are in a war to survive. They're getting attacked from their idiot neighbors.
Okay.
Right. All right. So we have covered it, but like the little snide remarks of like, we're not covering it properly. We're not covering it enough.
Kills himself. It's like, we're going to try to pretend like that didn't happen either. So you sweep it under the rug. Israel can do whatever they want.
I don't cover the road blockers. I don't the Constitution. I'm going to throw cans of soup at the Mona Lisa. Piss off. I don't want to hear. It's because of global what. Get handcuffed and go get charged. Get out of here. I don't want to hear your message. I'm not rewarding you for that childish behavior. I'm not doing it for the protesters at the art galleries. I'm not doing it when they block traffic. And this guy, I mean, like. Anyway, I opened the floor so that you could have 25 minutes to discuss this against all my better judgment because we're agreeing to disagree on this. I think this is like in the spirit of the show. I have just now bent over backwards to try to mix this together. Your perspective and mine. We can agree to disagree. And yet you had the floor. I didn't interrupt. I didn't call you names. We all talked about it. Jocelyn says she finds it tragic and disturbing, and she worries it will cause more self-harm and death. Yes, it'll cause more self-harm and death if we glorify it. But I digress. That's why I didn't do it. Blake has a different opinion.
Why don't you acknowledge the genocide, Brian, and say, hey, this has gone too far. We need to stop.
Genocide. Call it a war to end war. They're fighting an opponent, and one person's done when they don't get back up. They got attacked. They started a full-blown war. This is what happens in war. There are consequences to butchering 1,000 people. Usually a war ends when the person is ended, especially when the person that instigated the shit, like if you're at home sleeping and some idiot breaks through your door and tries to harm you, you get to end that threat. They're trying to end that threat because it's bullshit what they're doing. So that's my perspective.
Okay, that's how one guy in your neighborhood shoots at the cops, and then you're going to blow up the whole neighborhood, and that's okay with you. Well, it's a war. They started it. That's exactly what you're saying. That's your logic, Brian.
That's not exactly what I'm saying, and that's not my logic. It's a war that Hamas started, and they found out it was probably not a great idea. So anyway, we got a few other stories to cover in 12 minutes. Tried to do 5 minutes per topic, I swear. But anyway, moving on to the next one. All right, Blake, do you agree or disagree that Democrats will not deport people because there's a future voter opportunity there? Is that the reason why Democrats do not want to deport? Agree or disagree?
Oh, absolutely agree. So, yeah, Elon Musk put this tweet out. Was it yesterday? Let's see here. Let me pull it up. Yeah, basically saying what we knew out loud. Getting big display, 29 million views getting to see this. Dems won't deport because every illegal is a highly likely vote at some point. That simple incentive explains what seems to be insane behavior. Yes, it's insane to let 10 million illegal aliens flood the borders and then to act like it's not a problem. And it has become so brazen that a gang of illegals can beat up police officers on camera in Times Square, get out of jail for free, and still not get deported. Instead, a partly federally funded NGO bought them free tickets to California. And of course, this is on Ashley Sinclair talking about the brother of an illegal immigrant who murdered Laken Riley, Diego Ibarra, who also entered the country illegally. That's an awful story. There's another couple more, Alex Wise, Molly Tibbetts, and who knows how many other people, not just killed, but are victims of crimes from people, and we don't know who they are, where they come from, and it's okay. But as long as they can control votes someday, as long as they can beat MAGA somehow, one way or another, even if it's by importing aliens, they will do it. Ends justify the means. It's pretty sickening stuff. That's one of the that's the thing I want to criticize the left for, is they're acting like this isn't actually happening. It's not a big deal. Who cares? But yeah, as long as they could somehow work it to their advantage, they'll be okay with it. And I'm sure they would love to give them voting rights if they could. They have to beat Trump. They are
it's twofold. It's twofold. Number one, those blue states hemorrhaged all of their people during the coronavirus lockdown, seeing what tyranny looks like from Gretchen Whitmer and in New York with Cuomo and Gavin Newsom in California. People do not want to live like that. So millions of people have fled those cities. So they need millions of people to. So like I said before, like I like what Greg Abbott did, because it's like, no, you're not going to turn Texas blue. Get out of here. You got your illegal, your sanctuary cities. Get the hell up here to the sanctuary. Go to Martha's Vineyard. Go to New York. Go to Chicago. Go to Los Angeles. It's like, on the one hand, Blake, self-immolating gives a chance to tell the story. On the other hand, you don't want to glorify that type of stuff, and it'll encourage more of it. So it's a two-sided coin. So when this is happening, it's giving them exactly what they want. While it's also fixing Texas's issue, it's also playing right into their hand. It's giving them exactly what they want, millions of potential future voters. And the other problem is that because they lost those hundreds of thousands or millions of people demographically, they're at risk of losing congressional representation. What is it, the House or the Senate? I forget exactly how they divvy it up and they go on population, but like they could lose representation because they've lost people. So it's not just to beat Trump in 2024. It's also to restock the cabinets from the other stuff. I wanted to just kind of scroll through this because you did touch on it, Blake. This is the Twitter feed. Follow us. We're at American_media_. I'll say find us there because I try to put most of the relevant breaking news information onto X for the New American Media. So let me scroll through this a little bit because Blake just touched on a story I'm going to try to find. But also, the RNC did just get better because Ronna McDaniel is allegedly out as chair of the RNC. Goodbye and good riddance. This was a goodbye and good riddance song for Jacob Rothschild, actually. This is more Jacob Rothschild saying, I created Israel. Good riddance, says this post. What is this one? Babylon has fallen. But what I wanted to talk about was the big story. I think there is a situation. Oh, by the way, this is important. It didn't make our stack. I don't think so.
No.
But the head of the Ukrainian intelligence agency has said that Alexei Navalny has actually died of a blood clot, which would be a narrative wrecker for the American media. Kyle Becker didn't say the New American Media, but that's a little wraparound, at least according to them. That's what they are reporting. I'm not saying I believe it or don't. They're saying it was a blood clot, which is interesting because, blood clots, right?
We had heard that. It's not like quite a coincidence, but if it's coming from Ukrainian guy, then I would have reason to take it seriously. So they glorified him as an opponent of Putin, but he really wasn't that much of a threat. But
was he just a CIA operative? And did they off him intentionally, just like I fear they're going to do to Biden, and then blame it on MAGA so that they could clamp down even harder? Once you're no longer useful, dead men tell no tales. Let me scroll through just real quick because I want to try to get to the story I was thinking about, but this is another important one that I meant to get to. It popping off in Brazil, says Citizen Free Press. Massive street protest against the leftist president Lula. And Lula, as you remember, it was the Biden administration that propped him up. Biden, Obama, and the rest of their ilk took out Bolsonaro. Another completely sketchy, unbelieved, air quote, election to literally pry this Lula guy from jail and to keep the people's president, kind of like Bolsonaro was seen as President Trump in that area of Brazil. And now the people have had it there. Let me keep scrolling real quick. If you didn't see Shane Gillis on Saturday Night Live, Blake, did you happen to catch that?
I just saw a few bits and pieces. I did see the shoes commercial.
Yeah, that's this
That
one.
was hilarious. I did like that one.
It was pretty. Actually, I have it pulled up. Let me just. I think he does one of the better Trump impersonations. Just to hear him a couple of lines, I think it's good. Let me get the volume.
Whatever he wants.
Mr. Mitchell, everybody's saying I should have your office because my cubicle is a disaster right now.
Well, can I have a minute to gather my things?
Bye-bye.
He gets whoever he wants.
The one in bed so
The
good.
most fantastic lovemaking you've ever had.
Not really. It only lasted
2 hours. That was a 2-hour love session. You had a big O in there, a very big O, but...
I did? Oh. Want to go again?
I'd love to, but you're too tired.
And he is.
And he's wearing the shoes in bed. Anyway, I found that one to be pretty damn funny. Check it out. This is another interesting one from Paul Sperry. FBI agents caught Joe Biden illegally hoarding a dozen or more notebooks containing classified info, including U.S. intelligence sources, methods, and capabilities, activities of foreign intelligence services, U.S. military programs and capabilities, and foreign military programs. So once again, they point at Trump for everything that they are doing. This person wonders how much of this was sold to China through the Penn Biden Center. Okay. Of course you have it, but I want to get to the story of the jogger, the person. There's so much good stuff that I shared here on X. So just follow it at American_media_. I'm not going to get to all of it, but these illegal alien invaders that are killing Americans now, the list is growing, and it's got to be infuriating to anybody with common sense. I find it to be just abhorrent, and I think that's a story that's not getting enough attention in the media, Blake. Do you think enough people are talking about the illegal alien invaders that are killing American citizens on our soil?
Well, you're only going to hear that on Fox. You're not going to hear that on the leftist media, I'm sure. Or they're going to try to twist it. If they get corner them, and I think they were trying to make it sound as though that young girl that was killed in Georgia, the student, they were trying to make it sound like he was in the country legally. I don't think it was. So they will try to twist it.
Yeah, I believe he had been removed multiple times. Oh, by the way, here's another super important story that you need to keep an eye on, and then we'll just kind of tear through the rest of the stack in a rapid fire because we've approached the time here. But this is another one that came out, and I think it's super important to pay attention to.
Brian's got to cut it today, right? Because I was thinking we had a 90 minutes, but we can cut it whenever. So just
yeah, I do. But I maybe meet in the middle somewhere. But this is a story that's super important, especially when we're concerned about an information shutdown or an information blackout. So Obama, we can just call it Biden, but it's Obama, Biden, and Victoria Nuland and all these other idiots. Who's the Susan Rice? She's the main one, but they free up money for Iran. Iran funds the Houthis, and now the Houthis they're the weaponized force, just like the tens of thousands of Chinese men, military-aged men who are stationing across America right now, getting ready for God knows what on God knows what day. But right here is a story where the Houthis have cut underwater internet cables. The Houthi have damaged telecommunication lines in the Red Sea, as reported by Israeli economic publication Globes. At least 4 underwater telecom cables were damaged. How many do they need to shut before the internet? How many do they need to cut? Before the internet shuts down. This is on the heels of a couple of days ago. We had a massive cell phone outage. Our infrastructure is absolutely going to be under attack. And it's not just here domestically, it is nationally as well. Doggone it. Now my thing reset. But I just wanted to, the point I was trying to get to, and I'm going to bail on the point because it's taken me too long and now X just reset when I went to the story and back. I just wanted to say her name, the jogger. It doesn't come to mind immediately. If we can say the name of some idiot who killed himself 30 times in an hour-long show, maybe we should talk about an actual victim who did nothing of their own free will and accord, who did nothing knowingly and intentionally or reckless to themselves, and who were deleted by a bad guy who was led in by Biden. So I don't know. I was just trying to find her name and say her name because
when I was covering.
We should hear her her name, and that story should be everywhere. That was the counterpoint I was trying to balance there, but I can't find her damn name. And I'm
Laken Riley.
There we go. Laken Riley. Jocelyn says, stop calling Laken Riley. Laken, what a weird name, Laken. Sorry, no disrespect, but I'm not familiar. There's a college coach, Lincoln Riley, right? Lincoln Riley. Every time this story comes up, I'm like, Lincoln Riley.
Wait,
But Jocelyn says, stop
Kentucky
calling
one?
Laken Riley's killer an undocumented immigrant. He was an illegal alien invader. Amen. Yes. Okay, geez. Sorry, I just took us on a wild tangent. Where were we, Blake? You had your screen pulled up, didn't you?
Well, this is going to be for another story coming up. I don't know which order we were going in, but we might as well go there now. That's with pull up or throw a quick stinger in there, and I'll find it. Okay, agree or disagree. Trump is the most disgraceful figure in modern presidential history. I can pull that story back up. This is off the Bob Costas, the longtime sportscaster, going on the unhinged anti-Trump rant, calling followers a toxic cult live on CNN. And we haven't seen it. Here it is. Check out Bob.
I need the sound here. It's quiet. Blake, follow Blake. He's at TV's Blake Walley and the Next Level News.
Okay, could you hear it?
No, I heard nothing. If you can try the volume again.
Huh. Try this again.
Fingers crossed. We can get this. I got no sound over here.
Okay, well, that's odd. I can hear it just fine on my end. So, well, I guess we don't need to cover it. I got the quotes there. I can just read it off there. Right. Nobody can see it. So, let's see. Now, let's see.
The most disgraceful figure in modern presidential history. Nobody has been more unfairly attacked than President Trump. Change my mind. You're not going to change my mind. The most disgraceful. I mean, Biden, Bush, Obama, man, are they up there? They are up there. I mean, yeah, Biden is doing all the worst stuff that Obama always wanted to, and he always had to hide it. He always had to pretend he was. Like, now he's just unleashing all of it. Jocelyn put in the comment here that by the end of Biden's one term, 15% of the United States population is going to be illegal alien invaders. 1.5 out of 10 people in this country are here illegally, have broken into this country because of Biden, Obama. That is absolutely unacceptable. And every Laken Riley that gets butchered is just, it's so pointless. It should have never happened. Well, people are trying to come here and escape for a better life. You fingerprint them, you check them, you do a DNA test, you do an actual introductory process at a real port of entry, and you're scanned through the databases. You're double checked against your country of origin. Like, there's a process. You don't just flood in and expect favors. I am beyond myself. Every time a crime is committed, every time I just saw a story, another illegal alien by the way, all these illegal alien invaders, what are they doing? They're trying to work. Oh, are they? I've scrolled past, I don't know how many of these where they're laughing and bragging like, oh, look at my daughter. She's my ticket. I don't even have to work. I'm getting paid just to be here. All these people laughing at us, stealing your money to give to people who have no business here. Oh, well, they do have business. They're going to work. Okay, really? Really? So how are they going to get to work? Well, they're going to drive. How are they going to drive? They don't have a driver's license. Oh, well, they're just going to drive anyway. What? And they're going to hit people. I saw a guy killed 3 people. Maybe it was Texas. I can't even keep track of the stories I'm scrolling through. He blew through an intersection. I don't know if he could read the signs. I don't know if he knows what a red light means. I don't know if he says it knows what intersection means. Was blowing through there, hit 3 cars and killed 3 people. Screw these people. They can't drive without a license. They can't get a license because they're not here legally. They can't vote, but they're going to try to. This stuff is insane, Blake. Like, the previous 2 stories ago gets you fired up. This one gets me beyond fired up. It's just causing chaos across I'm trying to control my language, the damn country. And none of this has to happen. None of this is needed. If there is a reason, if there is a policy, if there is a plan in place that's not just to rig the election, if it's not just to fill up, the cheating Democrat cities and states. If it's more than that, if they're trying to replace the population because we're going to war, if it's because they anticipate other people like Navalny dying from a clot, wink, wink, honk, honk, then tell us. Just say it. Oh, we can't say it. It'll freak out the population. This is freaking out the population. I'm so frustrated. I'm so angry because any day now, and I'll stop my rant. Any day now, people, the internet will stop. Your cell coverage will stop. Your electricity will stop, and no water is going to come out of your outlet or out of your faucet. One of these days, one or all of these things will happen, and sleeper cells will be activated. Tens of thousands of Chinese military-age fighting men are in this country. The terrorists. Oh, you can't say that anymore. Fine. Freedom fighters. Whatever. There are people that just want to wreck this place, and we've let them in. And I don't know how to put it out there any more eloquently to everybody listening. We don't have any more time. This is at the very final stage. Every last broadcast we do could be the final one you'll ever hear. And I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it never happens. But I don't see how this ends any other way. I'm going to take a breath. I'm proud of myself. I'm going to pat myself. I don't think I swore. I think I caught myself on 20 cusses.
There you go.
Anyway, Blake, go ahead.
Good job, Brian. No, I feel you, man. I don't understand why this has been a thing for 3 years and we're not talking about this enough. I think finally now some of these people, they're doing some polls and they're realizing that, yes, it's time to address this border problem after, 10 million people, at least that we know of, have already entered illegally. And they're going to be used they're going to be a voting bloc. They're our future generation, I guess. They're our progeny now. We haven't even gotten the Joy Reid story of where we're, talking about whether or not we have too many kids. We already have.
Jump to the Joy Reid story, Blake. I think we got as much out of Casas that we needed. But Jocelyn says, yeah, I'm a member of the new American media cult where everyone is encouraged to think for themselves. Yeah, exactly. Libertarians plotting to take over the world and leave you alone. She also adds Air Biden's talking about the Saturday Night Live skit. Dreamer saying, what is SNL? Well, SNL used to be funny, but she says Air Biden's are clown shoes like Ronald McDonald's. That's kind of true. Well, the very final scene was Air Biden's, and he takes one step and falls flat on his face. It was funny. It was a decent skit. But anyway, I digress. Okay, what is Joy Reid? Joy. Who? Is it her?
Yeah, she's back in the news. She's always making waves with their crazy batshit nonsense. So
has she ever discussed cultural appropriation?
I'm sure that's probably all she does.
I'm seeing the picture and it looks like she's dyed her hair to look Swedish. It feels like that's cultural appropriation, a term that I don't acknowledge. I don't give any credence to. Anytime I hear it, I lose respect for the person saying it. Culture is a thing that we all, food and dress and all the things and music. It is. There's no appropriation and how dare you. It's like, yeah, whatever. But if they're going to play that game, let's play the game with her. How dare her dye her hair lily white like a Swede. Okay, so what did she have to say?
I wonder why these shows go so long, Brian. Okay, here we go. But yeah, so as Scott Adams saying, it's Trump hair lady. But yes, it could be either way.
Trump hair lady. That's good. I'll use that.
But here we go. This is total craziness. She's giving her take on the population. We'll let her speak if you can hear it.
The United States has a population of north of 327 million.
Can you hear this clip?
Yes, I can hear this one.
People.
Okay, good.
Why do we need more kids?
Why do we need more kids? Is she fucking redacted? I mean, I don't want to say fuck it, she's retarded.
Like, I try so hard to not swear, and you just drop one on an irrelevant story.
All right.
Anyway, thanks, buddy.
What the H? What the H?
There you go. What the H? I love when Norm would say that. Norm Macdonald, what the H? It's so funny.
Yeah, so this just bizarre. Here we go.
Senator Tuberville is the one screaming that 10 million immigrants, which I don't even know that number even makes any sense, because It doesn't.
Oh, it just doesn't, because it doesn't make any sense to you. Yes, there's at least 10 million people that's just through the southern border that we know of. And it's probably a lot higher than that. And then who knows what's coming in through Canada.
Have streamed into the country since Joe Biden has been president, and you're claiming that that's too many people, that if more people come into the southern border, this is some sort of crisis because...
Well, if they were planned and they were invited guests, that'd be great. We needed the help. That would be fantastic to bring more good, hardworking people in here, but that's not what it is.
By the way, before we do, and just to wrap up a couple of these comments on a story before we go 2 or 3 stories deep. Dreamer was just saying stop signs are optional if you've ever been to Mexico. Yeah, Michigan as well. And he says, not sarcasm. Jocelyn jumped in on that story that I watched that video and I couldn't remember. I still don't remember exactly where it was. But she says that guy was doing 70, blasting through a stop sign, a stoplight in a 25-mile zone, allegedly killing 3 people. The guy on camera, he's just cussing and oh, by the way, the gangbanging idiot that should have never been here. I actually remember what the signs are, but I'm not going to dignify it with showing it. But he throws up gang signs while he's on the ground in the middle of this, throwing up like why we're letting mental institute patients, criminals out of prisons, why we're letting the worst of the worst. They won't take these people back in Venezuela. They're dumping their prisons in here. They're dumping military battalions in here. This is going to end so badly. I just warn everybody, when the power goes out, that's your time. Lock and load. Talk to your neighbors immediately and get ready. It may be nothing, but I'm telling you, when it happens, they know your address. They know exactly who to go for. The first wave is going to be.
You said Chinese. Is it Chinese or jihadists? I've heard you say both. Or are they going to join forces?
You know, there's a lot of people that hate the imperialism that America has been pushing across the globe. All the regimes that we've toppled. And when I say we, it's not we, you and I. We hate this shit. We can't stand this stuff. They, the New World Order, they, the military industrial complex, they, the deep state, they, the traitors, they go around screwing everything up. I heard that Mexico might even be joining BRICS because they're trying to topple the dollar. So yes, you're getting separate battalions of 10,000 at a pop, Chinese men, military-aged men in our country. You're getting them from Afghanistan. You're getting them from Damascus and Syria. You're getting them from Saudi Arabia. They're getting them from Egypt. They are coming from all walks, ready to look. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. Hey, there's a party in the States. Let's go do it. I mean, someone's paying these people. Somebody's pulling the marionette strings. So anyway, okay.
Okay, we'll continue to let the crazy lady talk.
We've got no more space and we can't afford more people. But now you're saying we...
Yeah, the cities are overwhelmed, Joy. Get with the program.
Need more kids? Can you explain who's the we and what's the purpose?
Does she not know how human... It's like she's a robot or an alien in a human body, and she doesn't understand how, like, the life cycle works. She is...
Well, look, she's an actress. Not a very good one either.
You think I mean, was this a live stream, or did you think she'd maybe check this over before she, uploaded it?
I like what Dreamer said.
If I was a network, I would make this crazy bitch fucking run everything by me. Like, okay, that's great. I'd love it if you kept your social media, Joy, but just can you bring us through the network first and then we'll post it. We'll add all the bells and whistles. Just run it through us. Run it through the filter first.
But you know what? This is the beauty of free speech. Like, what it's supposed to be is let people have bad opinions and let them exist so they can be mocked. They can be debated. You can't push debate underground. Dreamer said, I told her hairdresser she wanted to go bigly. She got the Trump cut. That is funny.
Right. But if she was like part of your network, you would want to like rein her in a little bit. But I guess not.
You're saying we need more kids? Can you explain who's the we and what's the purpose? You're also a senator from the state of Alabama. God help the people there.
God,
are you saying the state of Alabama needs more kids? Why does the state of Alabama need more kids? More kids for what?
It's hard to believe she's serious. I don't get it. I
I
mean,
said she doesn't believe in God. Maybe she does believe in God. I don't know. But it just seems like
Brian,
the left in general have no sense of it.
You know, I almost wish we could live to be 200 years old. It'd be one thing, you know, because we have these big long lifespans, and we wouldn't have to be in a rush to like replace ourselves. But I mean, we don't live that long, and there's a limited window. And the way that she seems to be confused by this, I don't know what to make of this. So maybe she's a robot or an alien or something. I mean, she went to Harvard, but she is just insane.
Hold on. But we've seen the people running Harvard and these Ivy League, like we've seen the district attorneys in Georgia and in New York. Like just because someone is somewhere or got in somewhere, we've seen 15 million. We've seen 15 million sneak across the board. Just because someone is somewhere doesn't mean they deserve to be there or that they belong there. Frankie says she agrees, Brian. Let people show their ignorance. I did appreciate Dreamer saying Brian equals Paul Revere. Seriously. I mean, I'm begging everyone to get a little bit more prepared because when it pops, it's going to suck so bad. And we got to fight. I think we have to fight. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we can probably jump stories. I know we're on press for time and we probably have 5 or 6. We've seen enough from the crazy woman.
All right, let me read what Jocelyn said here because I wanted to bring up the NGOs on the illegal invader story. But she says there's another way where taxpayer money goes to non-elected officials. It's called NGOs, non-governmental organizations, aka charities that are blatantly facilitating illegal aliens into the country. I didn't vote for this. Yeah, it's insane. The NGOs have to be, something has to be done with our school system and the NGOs. This NGO stuff, man, talk about a wolf in sheep's clothing. It sounds so nice and so neutral. It ain't neutral. It's doing all the wrong stuff. I don't know. What do? Ban all NGOs? Stop all NGOs? Start having red states impacted? Where are, by the way, if we're talking about Fannie Willis, hopefully getting disbarred, and we're talking about Alvin Bragg, I think Bragg was the one that let out the killer who killed that Larkin, the one that with the jogger. I think he let that killer out, even though it was illegally here and should have been deported instantly. Hurt a child, did other crimes. He just let him out. If those people can prosecute, if they can turn a blind eye to legitimate crime and they can manufacture fake crime, like, oh, President Trump took out a loan and paid it all off in full and the bank was happy with it. Crime. Oh, $400,000 a day in interest. Okay, if they can do that, where the hell is, what was it, Ken Paxton in Texas? Where is he not individually suing every non-governmental organization that's facilitating this illegal invasion of the United States? Start dragging their asses into court. Bankrupt them. If this is what's happening, where is the counterpunch from the right? What we've seen with John McCain and Mitt Romney and all these rhinos, it's like, whimper, whimper. I'm not a racist. I'm not a bigot. I'm not a xenophobe. They play the stupid globalist game. Trump punches back and he punches twice as hard. Where are the red states going after the NGOs that are damaging this country? I'm sure there's an AG in maybe not California, but maybe Arizona, maybe New Mexico, maybe Texas. How about Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida? Anybody that can claim a legitimate grievance and destroy these NGOs that are committing treason, treason, with an ultimate penalty that you do pay with your life. Like that guy that went to the embassy and he's like, I'm done. These people that are committing treason, that's the literal definition of the penalty for subverting the American, for subverting America and the American legal system. So I'm calling on somebody, Ken Paxton, I don't know if there's a T in there or not. Go after the NGOs. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay, well, where were we? Probably a switch subjects, Brian.
Yes. But Jocelyn says we need as many kids as possible since infertility rates are lowered now. Oh, that's true. Can't imagine what did it. Baffling. Right. All the soy or the honk honk.
Okay, I would agree to disagree. Donald Trump desperately needs a mental health intervention.
So who said this? I'm going to disagree. I think Biden does, but I also think Biden's milking it because he's trying to hide behind all of his treason. and he's gonna say, "Oh, I'm an old man. Look, the Her report said I'm an old man. I'm Mr. Burns. I can barely walk. Woe is me." This guy is elbows deep beyond the borderline. The song Stinkfist by Tool. But yeah, he's so complicit. He knows exactly what he's done. He knows exactly every way he's traded. He's acted as a traitor to this country. Pelosi does too. Oh, okay, she's the one saying it. Okay, perfect. She looks a little bit like Rothschild too. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, it's time for her to go and to just to get out of DC. Leave everybody alone. She's enriched herself enough, just done enough damage, and she probably should be held accountable. But yes, projection here saying the grotesque Trump needs a mental health intervention. So I won't push too much of this, Brian. I know we're in a hurry, but yeah, she's unhinged. She's also crazy. And, I really enjoyed Trump in South Carolina. He seems to be pretty sharp and still on top of his game. He's actually quite hilarious.
Oh, he's so funny. He's a stand-up comedian. That's why people love him. I actually went to a buy recently. I do some reselling, and I got a whole bunch of G.I. Joe stuff. We'll leave it at that.
Really?
But he had a banner in his garage. The whole garage was G.I. Joe stuff, like in the boxes, on the cards. Like I was like in a museum. It was awesome. But it had like a real American hero G.I. Joe thing, but it was Trump 2024. I was like, oh, I got to get one of these. That is the coolest flag ever. That is the coolest banner ever. Jocelyn says, to be fair, Pelosi was hammered when she said it. She didn't even say his name without spitting. That's true. And then she also said, I fully endorse the idea of leftists like Joy Reid having no kids. That's a mic drop. Comment of the day. I mean, try to beat that one. I fully endorse people like Joy Reid having no kids. Okay. Did you have a clip you wanted to play of Pelosi, or just this is what she's saying and just please go away? Or was there
Europeans here are worried.
I mean, we could just say, watch it here.
They see America and they say America is stepping back. You've dealt with Donald Trump. What advice would you give them?
Him? Have an intervention into your mental health, your political viability. He's really grotesque, and it's really a shame. And I never could talk politics when I go overseas, because that's just the way we've been very bipartisan.
Grotesque. She's wearing a Ukrainian flag there on her.
When we go overseas, we may have our differences, and we criticize the president at home. And that I might hesitation to do that. But
I'd like to see her get a mental health examination.
You know what I would like?
Give one to Trump. Let's give one to Nancy, and let's see who does better.
You know what I would like is for her. I don't know. I was going somewhere with that and I forgot. Go ahead.
Well, let's shift gears again, because we got to do lightning round. So don't worry, fret not.
But this was the other good point that I wanted to mention. Jocelyn said, close the border and only allow Australians and Irish through. Both are under siege by Muslims in their country. Real asylum claims. We'll take 15 million of them. Yeah, go figure.
There you go. Okay.
All right, moving.
Uh-oh, I had to switch folders, and now I don't have all the captions.
Welcome back. Follow Blake. He's a TV Walley.
The Joe Biden presidency has been a masterclass already.
I would agree, Blake. I would say it's a masterclass in what not to do.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. That's what it seems like it should be going, but it's not. This is ass-kisser Gavin Newsom, governor of California, who might jump in for Biden, saying that the Biden presidency has been a master class, and to which Steve Watson says, in what exactly? He says he reveres his record. I mean, what he's done in these 3 years has been a master class, Newsom told NBC's Meet the Press, going on to create that Biden has created 15 million jobs, that the economy is booming. And he praised his temperance, despite the fact that Biden appears permanently angry and yells at reporters. He's supposed to be angry behind the scenes, and he fumbles, bumbles, stumbles. It's pretty embarrassing, and we all know that this is BS. So we got another clip here just to kind of throw this in Gavin's face here. I don't know what he's watching, but Biden forgets Obama's name, says Xi Jinping is the head of Russia. Let's run this clip here. Biden, even with notes in front of him, can't go through this smoothly. So let's take a look at this clip.
And stand here in front of this portrait of the man behind me here.
Abraham Lincoln.
He said, and I want to make sure I get the quote exactly right. He said, the better angel, he said, we must address the council and address the better angels of our nature.
He's got to make sure that he gets it correctly, and he's got it written in front of him. All you got to do is read the frickin' note.
And we do well to remember.
I mean, this is like a Leslie Nielsen skit. This is crazy.
It is. I wish Leslie Nielsen was here to play Biden, not the cool guy Jim Carrey that Saturday Night Live did when he staged a coup to overthrow the United States in 2020. Yeah, I said it. Oh yeah, Jim Carrey with some aviators. Look, I'm cool. No, you're not. This should be played by Leslie Nielsen, a bumbling, stumbling, pants-shitting fool.
Right. I mean, Biden was sort of, funny like 10 years ago as the goofy, VP for Obama, but now he's a shell of himself, and it's an embarrassment.
He said, we're not enemies, but we're friends. It's in the part of the Civil War.
I mean, this is sad. This is elder abuse.
We're not enemies, but we're friends. We must not be enemies. Folks, and I've been around, I know I don't look it, I've been around a long while, though. And I mean this sincerely. Politics has gotten too bitter.
It sure has, but let's take another look. This is Matt Taibbi's blog. This is Racket News, and this is a video by one of his colleagues here. Versus the memory hole, Biden repeatedly confusing Ukraine, Russia, and Iraq. Let's run a piece of this clip. Here we go.
How do we get to the place where, Putin decides he's going to just invade Russia? Nothing like this has happened since World War II. I mean, Russia's going to invade Ukraine. And I think Putin may circle Kyiv with tanks, but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people. He'll never extinguish their love of freedom. We're not waiting for that process to be finished to make the long-term commitments that we're making to Ukraine's security. Vladimir and I shouldn't be so familiar. Mr. Zelensky and I talked about the kind of guarantees we could make. And they talk about inflation. We're dealing with that for a whole second. Inflation is a worldwide problem right now because of a war in Iraq and the impact on oil and what Russia's doing. The war in Ukraine. And thinking of Iraq because that's where my son died. But the point is that together with our allies and partners, we've sent more.
Jeez. It's a master class, according to Gavin Newsom.
Master class. You got Blinken back there looking terrified. You got, who was behind
Trudeau? Mystery medical guy, yes. Defense secretary.
The medical guy, yeah. Lloyd Austin. And Trudy, as I like to call her. I mean him. Okay, Go ahead.
Oh, I could keep running the clip. We'll run it a little longer.
More
than 3,000 armored vehicles, more than 8,000 artillery systems, more than 2 million rounds of artillery ammunition, and more than 50 advanced multi-launch rocket systems. Anti-ship and air defense systems, all to help counter Ukraine's brutal aggression that's happening because of Russia. We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy and the guys who are the kleptocracies. Our terms that preserve Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, whether or not, what would happen if, in fact, after this, I think the context is that whether or not they're pulling back from Fallujah and the Kherson, the city of Kherson, I took on Putin in terms of Iraq. In terms of what was going on in Ukraine. I've taken on these leaders around the world. I'm the guy that's gone in and met them. I've taken on all these leaders.
That's terrifying that he would actually go behind like closed doors and meet with these leaders and get anything done except getting just absolutely run over.
Steamrolled. The big guy. There's your big guy getting his 10%, dipping his beak. Oh, by the way, I remembered what I was going to say about Pelosi, because thank you, Jocelyn. You add so much to every show. I appreciate you. And as well as everybody else, Vince and Kenneth and everyone. I love your comments. And the other girl, what was her name? I'm
Frankie.
Frankie, yes, Frankie. I appreciate you as well. But Jocelyn says, but Pelosi can pick stocks. That's what I was getting ready to say. What I would love to see with Pelosi is a easy to understand real-time stock tracker, so that when she makes a move, we can make identical moves. I know I've seen some stock tracking stuff from her, but yeah, I mean, all the money laundering from Ukraine, everything from Pelosi and Biden, it's just disgusting, man. It is all hail corn pop indeed. Thank you, Kenneth. All hail corn pop. I think Biden should lose all 50 states when it comes up. I'm not kidding. I don't see how anybody could look at that gaff-filled fool and just believe the lamestream, lying legacy media and their Trump bashing. I think everybody knows the country and the world was way better off under Trump. He might be a boss and you might not like him, but he was a boss.
Right. Well, not according to Bob Costas. You would be one of his toxic supporters.
All right. Toxic supporters it is. Corn pop indeed.
All right.
Okay. So that's Gavin Newsom. That's the masterclass. Thank you, Matt Taibbi. Matt Taibbi kind of taking on a nice role.
Yeah.
Dreamer says we lost the world that will take years, if not decades, to repair. Exactly. And thank you, Kenneth. Liberty Bibberty. Every time that commercial comes out now, it gets stuck in my head. Liberty Bibberty. Okay. Anything else we have in the stack, sir? What else we got? Blake, remember this as I said at the beginning of this episode, the fastest 90 minutes in all of news. I tried for 60, but oh well. We're getting close.
Okay, yeah, we only got 3 minutes left. All right, so we won't be able to run much of this clip, but that's all good. This kind of ties with the other one. So I guess Ukraine is now accepting National Guard troops. And
where'd you find that story, Blake? Where'd you find that?
You told me to go check out your feed, so I did. I followed the New American Media on X.
Where would one find that? What is that? That's at what? At
American_media_.
Hey, thanks, Blake. Appreciate that. By the way, follow Blake. He's at TV's Blake Walley. Okay, so what is this one? This is about joining the Ukrainian army, folks. Here you go. Here's your chance.
Yeah, they're running out of soldiers. They're like grabbing like 50 and 60-year-old dudes that they can find and basically throwing them into the meat grinder on the front lines. Awful. And so we'll keep sending them more money and weapons. So now, of course, these celebrities can't, miss an opportunity to, kiss up to the establishment. So they did, and they made another video talking about their support. Here's Bob De Niro right here.
Hello, I'm Robert De Niro speaking to you from New York.
This is Imagine Dragons. This is Bono from U2.
Je suis Catherine Deneuve.
Hello, Ukraine. I'm Mark Hamill.
Hello from Los Angeles. It's Catherine Winnick.
This is Stephen Fry.
Hey, this is Brad Paisley.
It's Emma Thompson here.
Paisley.
I stand with Ukraine. Dear Ukrainians.
Today marks the 2
Disappointed to see Viggo Mortensen. I thought he was on our side, but maybe not.
year anniversary of Russia's unjustified invasion of Ukraine.
2 ans ont passé avec toujours tant de morts, tant de massacres, tant de villes rasées.
It was a shocking act, and it continues to be.
It's a shocking act. So, okay, well, you motherfuckers can pick up your arms and join the National Guard and go over there then.
The Ukrainian
our money over. Right. All right, well, I won't continue to run that, but I thought that was great. So, yes, volunteer. Put your money where your mouth is. I'm tired of this. Tired of giving money away to everybody. And this war is not going anywhere. It's a lost cause. Give up. Robert De Zero.
Kenneth Bisa calls him Robert D. Zero. That's a nice one. Good one. Kenneth, our resident wordsmith. Appreciate that. Yeah. Shame on Zelensky for not negotiating a stop to this stuff. Stop. It's over. It's been over. This is ridiculous. Like, just stop. The stories are that there have been multiple offers to stop this unnecessary pummeling that have been rejected by Zelensky, Biden. That's just unacceptable. Like, this is exactly what you were calling for in Gaza. Please stop, do a pause. Some people say that gives the bad guys chance to recoup and recalibrate and move equipment, and you can't stop. Some say stop the bloodshed, stop the destruction, the wanton chaos. Well, I mean, this is there's Ukraine has no chance. This has got what, 2 years of this crap? Shame on Zelensky for selling his soul to Obama, Biden in Victoria Nuland and Susan Rice. Susan Rice and Victoria Nuland are probably more responsible than both Biden and Obama combined. But shame on Zelensky for putting his people through this, for pushing so hard to get this reaction. You knew that this was going to be the reaction as they were trying to get into NATO, as they're pushing closer and closer to their borders. I mean, they were warned multiple times. Russia, I don't give a shit about Russia either. I'm not pro-Palestine, pro-Israel, pro-Russia, pro-Ukraine. I don't care. I'm pro-America. I'm American, fine. But, like, I don't have a dog in that fight. But when you keep pushing aggressive policies right up into the border and you're warned, the rattlesnake tail shakes. It says, you got to stop this. The biolabs, the Nazis, all of the NATO stuff, the aggression. If you do this, there's going to be consequences. And guess what? They effed around and they found out. Oh, and so Robert, these people, this is completely there was no reason for Russia to do what they did. There's a laundry list of reasons why. Victoria Nuland and the Obama policy of 2013, 2014 with Biden and Susan Rice caused this shit. And we're seeing the repercussions of it a decade later. I'm so surprised that the BRICS nations are trying to dump the dollar and hurt America, because this is what America does across the globe. So it's the Ron Paul strategy, or the philosophy of just saying,
I need to get like an electrical shock buzzer, so when we're doing lightning round, I gotta hit the button and buzz.
That was my last point.
Oh, okay,
Paul. That was my last point. Right. It was the Ron Paul blowback that we're experiencing now. Shame on Zelensky.
Brian's on another 10-minute rant. All right.
I mean, if you tune in, you might want to hear what I have to say. So I got something to say, but
I hear you. We got to get this time management under control so we can get this show under 90 minutes. We're at 92. Brian, do you have any more time? You give it
we did 40 minutes on Gaza. So like I gave it everything you needed. So like that was the trade-off. Right. No, I have a couple minutes. It'll okay. What? Oh yeah, this woke stuff from Google. Let's talk about this.
So Brian, I already took that caption out. I had it up there. Let me pull it back up. Okay, Brian, is it okay to misgender someone to prevent a nuclear apocalypse?
No, gender's just a construct,
Caitlyn
man.
Jenner. Yeah. The latest thing.
These are the robot overlords that some people are really considering we should turn over our thinking capabilities to. No. Let's let them decide for us. Well, this is what they decide because they are the programmers that created it.
Right. So Google AI would not misgender Caitlyn Jenner to prevent a nuclear apocalypse. So it's a good thing they're not in charge. So if one could stop a nuclear apocalypse by misgendering, by saying that's a dude dressed up in drag, you would save the world. Or if you're just like, I shouldn't say, I don't know, then you get a nuclear apocalypse. But this is how bad the AI is and how ridiculous this is. So I won't get into too much of it. But yes, the Google Gemini is under fire for its just woke insanity. And this is just another example, with all due respect to Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn, whatever. I guess, yeah, these weird little hypothetical scenarios that it keeps messing up. Anyway, what else did we have, Brian? One
more. We need aggressive censorship to combat misinformation online. Final topic. Okay. We did so good.
Final topic. That's, of course, Justin Trudeau's terrified of independent media winning the information war, calls for aggressive new censorship to protect mainstream media propagandists. So,
Canada, please rise up and put somebody normal in charge of your country. This whole hemisphere is sinking because of this crap. Please cast off Trudeau and put
Yeah, they're
somebody.
going to say, hey, well, you elected Joe Biden, dude.
We
What
are,
looking
hold on,
at?
but on a daily
Because the
basis.
elections are rigged. Okay, anyway, yeah.
No, but on a daily basis, we are screaming that this guy's illegitimate. It was a coup to overthrow the sitting president. Regardless, if you want to claim that it was a totally legitimate, the most safe and secure election in the history of elections, by the way, go to cisa.gov/rumor control, because they want you to see contrarian views, or what's it called? Something views? Countervailing views. You know, if the people of Gaza were yelling every day, we hate Hamas, these damn terrorists, we just want to live in peace, screw these people. But you see the studies, it's like 75% of them are like down with the cause. And you're like, well, okay, we are not down with Joe Biden. We are not down with Trudeau. We are not down with this whole hemisphere sinking. We are yelling, please help us get rid of these oppressors. So, yeah, we're screaming.
Right. Yeah, we need election integrity, because I don't believe all these things. So, but we shall see. He's still there, even though it seems like everybody hates him. Biden's still here, even though it seems like everybody's, thinks he's incompetent. I don't get it. Bolsonaro lost in Brazil. I don't know how this all works. Keep re-electing Macron in France.
Hong Kong.
Right. Anyway, and who knows? Your next president will be Gavin Newsom. I don't know, but this is, of course, ridiculous. They're losing the war, they're losing the narrative, and instead of making their case and presenting it, they just want to shut down people with different points of view. So there you go.
Wild, man. Well, hey, thank you so much, Blake. Tell people where to find you, real quick.
TV's Blake Walley on Twitter X, or of course, the archive is always on the nextlevelnews.com.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, everybody. It's been delightful. Brian, I don't think I can do Thursday afternoon, but I mean, maybe we can try a night show Thursday night. I don't know. We'll work on it, but we'll try to get a second show somewhere this week.
Was Wednesday evening something you wanted to stick with? I know we tried it last week.
I'll do one more show. I don't know if you want to do it Wednesday night or Thursday night. I think we're just kind of playing it by ear and seeing what works. I don't want to do Thursday during football season because obviously I'm a football guy, but
I can pull myself away from football.
Right. Well,
it's only like football more than February.
Me. Right. Well, we don't have to have a fixed time yet until we can absolutely commit ourselves to a certain time block. But I can't do Thursday afternoon, but we could do Wednesday night or Thursday night. You tell me what works best for you, and we'll do another show somewhere. Hopefully you guys can make it. If not, we will have the archive on the nextlevelnews.com. We appreciate so much your commentary.
Excellent.
Your participation and for joining us as always.
Thank you,
Brian?
Blake. Appreciate it. Yes. So here's my final word here. So Truth Social, the New American Media. And Blake, you're at Blake Walley, right? On Truth? At Blake Walley?
TV's Blake Walley. I don't remember what I am on Truth. I hate Truth. And you just said something on Truth, and I went to Truth, and I can't even get into it. I'm getting the same crap problems I always have.
We'll try resetting the password. It's a good backup because we know that election season we're going to be silenced on some of these platforms. So anyway, we're on Truth at the New American Media. On Spotify, we're getting more listens over there. That's good. The podcast is the Agree to Disagree Show. Please do that. We've had some good listenership over there. Rumble, we had our highest viewed Rumble day again. We matched one of our previous, so you can see the spikes and how many people are doing what. So Rumble, we're the New American Media. Also YouTube. Rumble is kind of like the backup to YouTube, but it's youtube.com/the New American Media. That's like 1,400 videos over 12 years. Lots of stuff. It's all out there. Telegram, we're TNAM for TNAM. It's the New American Media, TNAM and TNAM chat. Telegram is a great backup. Follow us there. X, we're at American_media_. On Facebook, the New American Media page and the Agree to Disagree show group. Also Instagram, like I said, the New American Media. Follow us in all the places. Oh, and Patreon. Patreon.com/the New American Media. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee, that would be awesome. Much appreciated to all of you who have. And yeah, we'll be back either Wednesday or Thursday. Blake and I will talk offline. And yeah, maybe we could even send something out on X, like send a message, like let people know we'll be on tonight at 7 or tomorrow with like whatever that is. maybe we should send out a message and let you know. But Blake and I will talk offline, and I appreciate all of you for joining us in the fastest, what was it,
99 minutes.
99 minutes in all of media. I appreciate you. I love you, and we'll talk again soon. Take care. Peace out. Ah!